Hello, hello, hello. How are you today? As for me, I'm doing absolutely fine. So I come here today to talk to you about the book of Genesis, chapter 37. And previously, we talked about chapter 36, and someone asked me about the genealogy that was listed there. And in that chapter, in chapter 36, it listed the genealogy of Esau's sons. And they wanted to know what was the purpose in that. Well, throughout the Bible, when we do see the genealogy, there is a purpose, although it can seem very confusing, all of these names, and we don't know what's what, but there is a purpose for it. First and foremost, it gives us the bloodline of Jesus. It lets us know from the beginning to when Jesus came. The other thing is that there's significance in there as we read along in the other chapters in the Bible. For instance, in 36, where it gives the genealogy of Esau, it lets us know that his sons became rulers in the land that they settled in. They settled in Seir and they became dukes. The Bible said they became dukes, which were rulers in that land. And also we know that Esau was not the one who his father spoke the blessing over, but Esau was still blessed. If we remember reading it, when the father and Esau realized that he was tricked and that his brother Jacob received his blessing instead of him, Esau cried out, "Is there a blessing for me?" And Jacob and his father did give him a blessing. So in other words, I want to say that in chapter 36, when we see the genealogy of Esau, we see his sons. It's significant because as we read prior into Genesis 14 talks about the war where the Horites were Esau settled, and also in Deuteronomy, I think it's the second chapter, Deuteronomy, the second chapter, verse 12. It speaks of them also, and I'm just going to read that. It's short. So Deuteronomy chapter 2, verse 12. The Horites also dwelled in Seir before time, but the children of Esau succeeded them. When they had destroyed them from before them and dwelled in their stead, as Israel did unto the land of his possession, which the Lord gave them. So it's just letting us know that he went into Seir in chapter 36. It lists all of Esau's sons, and it does tell us that they settled into the land of Seir, Seir. And it tells us in Deuteronomy that there were people already there who had claimed that land, but the sons of Esau came in there and overtook the land. So there is significance in that. So that's all I just wanted to say. There's much more I would like to get into about chapter 36 and Esau's and Jacob's blessing, but I'll go ahead and go to chapter 37. And so I'm going to begin reading at the first verse. Genesis chapter 37. And this is really good. And Jacob dwelled in the land wherein his father was a stranger, in the land of Canaan. These are the generations of Jacob. Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding a flock with his brethren, and the lad was with the sons of Bilhah, and with the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives. And Joseph brought unto his father their evil report. Now Israel loved Joseph more than all of his children, because he was the son of his old age, and he made him a coat of many colors. And when his brethren saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren, they hated him, and could not speak peaceably unto him. And Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it his brethren, and they hated him yet the more. And he said unto them, Hear, I pray you, this dream which I have dreamed. For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and lo, my sheaf arose and stood upright, and behold, your sheaf stood about, and made obedience to my sheaf. And his brethren said unto him, Thou shalt indeed reign over us? Or shalt thou indeed have dominion over us? And they hated him yet the more for his dreams and for his words. And he dreamed yet another dream, and told it to his brethren, and said, Behold, I have dreamed a dream more, and behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obedience to me. And he told it to his father and to his brethren, and his father rebuked him, and said unto him, What is this dream that thou hast dreamed? Turning the page. Shall I and thy mother and thy brethren indeed come to bow down ourselves to thee in the earth? And his brethren envied him, but his father observed the saying. And his brethren went to feed their father's flock in Shechem. And Israel said unto Joseph, Do not thy brother feed the flock in Shechem? Come, and I will send thee unto them. And he said unto him, Here am I. And he said unto him, Go, I pray thee, see whether it be well with thy brethren, and well with the flocks, and bring me word again. So he sent him out of the vale of Hebron, and he came to Shechem. And a certain man found him, and behold, he was wandering in the field. And the man asked him, saying, What seekest thou? And he said, I seek my brethren. Tell me, I pray thee, where they feed their flocks. And the man said, They are departed hence, for I heard them say, Let us go to Dothan. And Joseph went after his brethren, and found them in Dothan. And when they saw him afar off, even before he came near unto them, they conspired against him to slay him. And they said one unto another, Behold, this dreamer cometh. Come now, therefore, let us slay him, and cast him into some pit. And we will say, Some evil beast hath devoured him, and we shall see what will become of his dreams. And Reuben heard it, and he delivered him out of their hands, and said, Let us not kill him. And Reuben said unto them, Shed no blood, but cast him into the pit that is in the wilderness, and lay no hands upon him, that he might rid him out of their hands, and deliver him to his father again. And it came to pass, when Joseph will come unto his brethren, that they stripped Joseph out of his coat of many colors that was on him. And they took him, and cast him into a pit. And the pit was empty, there was no water in it. And they sat down to eat bread, and they lift up their eyes, and look, behold, a company of Ishmaelites came from Gilead with their camels, bearing spicery and balm and myrrh, going to carry it down to Egypt. And Judah said unto his brethren, What profit is it if we slay our brother and conceal his blood? Come, let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hands be upon him, for he is our brother and our flesh. And his brethren were content. Then they passed by the Midianites, merchantmen, and they drew and lifted up Joseph out of the pit, and sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver, and they brought Joseph into Egypt. And Reuben returned into the pit, and behold, Joseph was not in the pit, and he rent his clothes. And he returned unto his brethren, and said, The child is not, and I, whither shall I go? And they took Joseph's coat, and killed a kid of goat, and dipped the coat in the blood. And they sent the coat of many colors, and they brought it to their father, and said, This have we found. Now, know now whether it is thy son's coat or no. And he knew it and said, "It is my son's coat, and evil beasts have devoured him." Joseph is without doubt rent in pieces. And Jacob rent his clothes, and put sackcloth upon his loins, and mourned for his son many days. And all his sons and all his daughters rose up to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted. And he said, "For I will go down into the grave until my son's mourning." Thus his father wept for him. And the Midianites sold him into Egypt, unto Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, and the captain of the guard. Praise the Lord. That concludes the reading of Genesis 37. Wow, that was awesome. As we get into this chapter and continuing in chapter 38, we'll see more about that. But most of us are familiar with Joseph having a coat of many colors. So we'll get more into that. I just think the book of Genesis is so very awesome. So I'm going to close for now. I hope you enjoyed the reading of Genesis chapter 37 and my explanation of chapter 36. And should you have any questions, feel free to ask and I will answer them the best I can. I don't know everything, but I did go to school for theology and